Hi friends, I'm Karen and this is the Family Food for Moms podcast. We're talking about inspiration for family cooking and dining. In this episode, I'm going to talk about family fun nights. Family fun nights can be as simple as takeaway pizza in front of a movie or an episode of Masterchef, or they can be something that takes a bit more preparation. There are many different seasons of having children at home, and we found that no matter what the kids' ages are, there's family fun nights that everyone can enjoy. So I'm going to mention some of the ones that we love to do. I'll do more in future episodes, but I'm going to tell you about some of our favorites. Family fun nights are such a great way to wind down, even as mom and dad, after a long week, and relax and have fun and connect with each other and with the kids and really enjoy each other's company. So the first one is the fun fair. So what we do here is each child, and sometimes parents as well, come up with a stall like you'd find at a fun fair in real life, but kind of simplified. So it could be something like throwing a ball into a cup. Usually it's indoors because it's at night or evening. So we'll use ping pong balls or some kind of softball. We could do a paper airplane throwing contest where you hang up a hula hoop or a piece of paper with different size holes cut in it. And then you have marks on the floor at different distances with masking tape. And then the contestants have to try and throw the paper airplane through the different size holes from different distances, and they get a different number of points on their card that the stall holder will award them. So each family member has a card with their name on it, and the stall holder writes their winnings on there. So perhaps it would be 5 points for getting it through this hole from here, or 10 points for this one. Also, each player will have a whole lot of coins that we give them up front, cardboard coins. So to do this game, you have to pay 2 coins. So you have a sign up at your stall that says something like 2 coins for 3 throws. And then the player comes up, gives you the coins, and they get their throws. Then maybe they get 5 points the first time, 0 the second time, and 10 points the next time. So then the stall holder writes 15 on their card, and then they can go and visit the other stalls or come back and do this one again if they like. Another example of a nice stall would be putting up a mirror and then drawing a maze by looking in the mirror or following a line on the paper. So in other words, there is a maze on a piece of paper. You put it in front of the mirror and you only look in the mirror, and then you have to copy that without looking at your fingers. Any kind of mini Olympic games like hopping, throwing things, throwing paper plates, throwing straws like a javelin, building a Lego item in a certain amount of time, building a pile of cards in a certain amount of time that has to be a certain height, or the same with paper cups, creating something with tape and cardboard in a certain amount of time. So each of these stalls would be situated in a different position in the house. So perhaps in the living room, there'll be 2, one in the kitchen, one in the dining room. And then you take turns being at your stall, so the other half of the family can go and play the games, or you go and play the games while other people man their stalls. It helps obviously to have a big family for this, but you can also do this with friends or cousins. So half the stall holders are at their stalls and the other half play the games or do the activities and get their points. And then you switch around. The other half opens their stalls. Then when you've got a good amount of points on your card, then we open the prizes shop. So for this, I just buy some basic prizes, some candies or chocolates, some bouncy balls, erasers, any little prizes that you think might be appreciated. Sometimes notebooks and pens are more practical. Erasers. Sometimes there's prizes that Dad obtains from one of his clients, and they'll be more interesting, like a fancy water bottle with a logo on it, or a little pen. The cheap prizes would be like 20 points, and the more expensive prize is worth 100 points. So basically each person can spend the points that they've won from their card, and then they get crossed off when they've claimed a prize for those points, and then they can go and play more games and come back for more prizes. So that one's lots of fun. Another family fun night that we really enjoy is a food fair. So these are different to the fun fairs in that they involve food. We also do them country themed at times. So for food fairs, we like to each choose a country and then make like street food, or buy street food that fits with that country, or even get takeout from a particular restaurant if it's something that's hard to make. So one person may choose China, and then we'd order spring rolls or a bit of sushi, although that's kind of Japanese, isn't it? Little bowls of Chinese soup, sweet and sour chicken and rice. We'll use very small bowls, containers, so there's enough for each person to have a few different options for their meal. And then you have your coins, the paper coins again. You get to the stall, and then you buy something from that stall, that item. I may buy a cup of Chinese tea or a spring roll. The next person that I go to then may have a France stall. So I'll go to the France stall and I'll choose a croissant or a creme brulee that we've made. Some stalls may have more dessert type things, and other stalls main food. So then we might go to Turkey and have a kebab. Many fun options, and each child gets to choose their country and their food. We might go to England and have a little chicken pie, a tiny one. The idea is to be able to visit as many stalls as possible and have food from as many places without getting too full. Each person would also decorate their stall with maybe a flag, the colors that go with the country, or some balloons. Maybe they would dress up or wear a particular hat or a fancy dress costume from their country. Anything that makes it look French or Italian, perhaps pizza slices at the Italy stall. So it's basically a fun way to have dinner. Sometimes a stall holder could play music that goes with the country. Set up a few speakers connected to a phone near the stall so that when you walk towards that stall, you hear the music from that country. Next, the backwards upside down meal. This one is really, really fun and really silly. Everything's backwards and inside out and upside down. So be as creative as you can. Instead of eating at the table, you sit under the table and eat. You can wear your clothes inside out. You could start with dessert and then have main course and then a starter. I don't know if the kids would make it through to the starter, but sometimes we have these cards where they have different secret courses that you throw the dice for, and you don't know what you're going to get, but then the dice decide. And then not only that, but you throw the dice to see which implement you get to eat with. Sometimes all you have is a whisk or a spatula or chopsticks to eat your meal with. So you can think of any ways to make dinner backwards or upside down and then have fun with that. The progressive meal. This is lots of fun to do with friends at different houses, but you can also do it at home with your family. So choose 3 different rooms of the house. And the first course, you put perhaps cushions around on the floor, a tablecloth on the floor, or on a board, and then you sit there and have the first course, reclining even like Jesus and the disciples around the table, or sitting on the cushions like the Chinese. Often finger foods will work well for this course. Then for the main course, you move to the dining room. You sit at the table, make the table fancy and beautiful. You can have some of your children be waiters and waitresses and bring the food. And then for the dessert, you go to a third room. Maybe you sit on beanbags or couches. You eat your dessert there. It's nice to have different conversation starters or a particular topic of conversation, something you'll talk about in each room. And you could think of that in advance, something that will get the kids going, talking about a particular issue that you introduce. As I said, you can do that with friends, or 3 different families get together, and then you actually drive to each house and have your meal so that you go to 3 houses in total. Lots of fun. Next, the mini Olympics. I mentioned this a little bit before. So for this one, we imagine you need to do Olympic Games indoors. So we're going to treat it like Olympics. We may have teams or we may have individuals competing, and then we'll have events. And be as creative as you like with the events. Shot put could be a ping pong ball that we throw. So perhaps we watch a video to see how they do it, and then we do the whole spinning and throwing thing. Perhaps a bouncy ball or something that doesn't go far, like a ball of press stick that would thud. Then we'll usually have a judge, like Dad, who decides who the winner is and gives a score to each person or each team on their scorecard. We can do the javelin throw using straws. So again, you see who can throw it the furthest. We can try the long jump inside, paper airplane throwing. Discus, we use paper plates and see how far we can throw those. We write everybody's name on their plate, and then we do them individually so we can judge whose plate has gone the farthest. There are many other events that you can think of. Sometimes you can go down the stairs on mattresses or do something with building using materials. There's endless things. And then at the end, we'll total up all the scores. The winners stand on the podium, and you can even do makeshift medals or buy chocolate medals to have first, second, and third place. Or everybody gets a little consolation prize. But we make a big deal of it being the Olympics. A games night. Each family member can choose a game they want to play. A board game, a card game, a dice game. And then you have a timer and you play each game for, say, 15 minutes or half an hour. Then you switch to the next one. So card games like Go Fish or Snatch, where as soon as you get a group of 4 cards, you have to grab a spoon, and then the last person to grab the spoon is the one who's out. There are dice games like Yahtzee or Tenzi that are lots of fun. Scrabble, ordinary board games, you could do chess, checkers, or more involved games like Cluedo. So lastly, for family fun nights, like I mentioned at the beginning, a simple dinner and a movie or pizza are always the best and most relaxing for mom. We like to alternate between pizza nights and Chinese nights. Pizza nights, we'll buy a whole lot of pizzas and divide them, or we'll put our own homemade ones on the grill individually, and then we'll watch an episode of our favorite show. On the other weeks, we make the Chinese meal a bit fancier. So it's much more relaxing still because we don't have to make the food, but we can be creative and put a beautiful tablecloth and layers of plates and bowls for the different courses, chopsticks. So it's really interesting. And then we have good conversation and relax and do things in between courses that help us connect as a family. So I'm sure you can be very creative and think of ideas that I haven't mentioned to do with your family. I'd love to hear some of the things you do. If you could send me an email, that would be karen@familyfoodacademy.com. But have a look on our website at this blog post if you'd like to be reminded of the things. That's on familyfoodformoms.com under podcast. If you'd like to be reminded of any of these games, just look at the transcript or on familyfoodformoms.com/episode-7. Also, we have a new exciting download for you. It's to go along with the fun fair, family fun night, and the fool's dinner. They're printables that have tokens for the food fair and also the fun fair. Then there are cards for scoring. There are just various signs to put up, everything that makes that night look cool and extra fun. And the same for the fool's dinner. There's a cardboard dice that you can make, and the menu with preset places to write what people are going to choose from, like what implement they're going to end up eating with. So you can find those on familyfoodformoms.com/fun night. So that's familyfoodformoms.com/fun night as one word. I hope you have a memorable week with some good family time, and I'll chat to you again soon. Thanks for listening.